Hello, folks. Welcome back. Today we're talking about The Ruin of Kings by Jen Lyons. Lyons? I'm not sure how to pronounce it. This is the first book in a five-book series. It's an epic fantasy, and I'm excited to talk about this because I haven't really heard a lot of people talk about this book or the series, and I think that's a shame because it has a lot to offer, I think. I think Elliot Brooks is reading this book as part of her January buddy reads. So looking forward to finding out what her thoughts are on this book. But anyway, so as a synopsis, this obviously it's an epic fantasy, and it starts out with a protagonist, a very young protagonist. He's 15 and a half or so, 15, 16. And he's a minstrel, but also a thief. He's sort of part of a gang. And he lives in a brothel with his adoptive father, Sergei. And one day or one night, he robs a house, and certain events occur, or he witnesses certain events, and that triggers a whole series of other events, and he gets swept up in the world events and basically in all of the demons and magic and larger prophecy situation. I don't want to give too much away, so I'm sorry if I'm being oddly vague. Now, what did I like about this book? I think the characters were well done. Jen Lyons creates vivid characters that have clear tone and really jump off the page. I also really like this world. It was really neat, completely different, exactly what I like in epic world fantasy. I really enjoy it when I have the sense that there's a whole other culture there with different norms and even within the world there are other cultures with different norms and those cultures clash. And I think that this book delivered that. It delivered a rich world with a whole new system of cultures and religion and magic. The magic system, I really can't comment on because there's very clearly a magic system. It's alluded to for the most part of the book. It comes up a little bit more towards the end of the book. There's a very clear, potentially hard magic system in this book, but I really don't know because we just don't have enough information. And the plot. I like the plot. I think it had some tropes in it, but it managed to subvert those tropes enough that I was interested. Every time I thought that, okay, this is very tropey, oh, I see where this is going, the author managed to surprise me, or it managed to go a little left of center or right of center, and that kept me reading. What I didn't like about this book. So the pacing was problematic. And the first half of the book particularly, I struggled with what was happening, and a lot of things were happening and the plot was moving forward. But honestly, if it wasn't for how rich the world was and the strength of Jen's writing, I don't think I would have DNF'd this book simply because of the pacing up until that point. Once we get about halfway through the book, well, not only just the pacing, but just the tropiness of the plot as well. It's very, very tropey for the first half, and it really seems to be going down one road. And it's not until you get about halfway through that she starts to subvert or starts to play a bit with those tropes, and you start to see other things. So if you're a person who started this book, thought it was too tropey, DNF'd it, I would give it another go because it does get better. So other thing that I didn't like about this book is that while Jen doesn't do any information dumps, or she does very few information dumps, which I generally like. I do like to discover magic through the characters using it and the characters discovering magic. She doesn't do that either, or at least not to my satisfaction. At the end of the book, I really have no idea how this magic system works, or what we can expect for it, or what its limitations are, if any. Is it a hard magic system? I don't know. Is it a soft magic system? I don't know. Where does the magic come from? What are its limitations? How do characters use it? I don't know. So I'm hoping that we're going to get more information about the magic system, because I think it could be very good, and I think it could really aid the storytelling. Up until this point, I was a little frustrated by the fact that we kept running into magic, and even our protagonist actually learned some magic along the way, but we as the reader still don't understand how that magic works, or how it plays a part. So I didn't like that. Overall, rating wise, this is a B plus for me. I think it's a very solid entry for this series, and I'm very excited to see where it goes. In fact, about 100 pages toward the end of this book, I did go out and I bought the next book. And I've already started this. I'm about 100 pages into The Name of All Things. I'm actually quite hopeful that the second book is going to be better than the first one, because I think the first book, I think the second one is maybe going to fix some of my criticisms of the first one. But overall, this is a very solid entry for a epic fantasy series. It's worth a try. Yes, it does start out with a teenage protagonist. It's not YA, and I think that there's a lot of potential for this series. So I do recommend this book. Again, it has some flaws, but I think that those flaws are going to be smoothed out, or I hope that they're going to be smoothed out in later books. Anyway, that's all from me today. I hope you give this book a try, and if you do, please leave me some of your comments below. I would really like to know what other people are thinking about this book. If you've read it, of course, and if you didn't, or if you started reading it and you stopped reading it, let me know what made you stop, because I did almost stop this book, did almost DNF it, and I kind of pushed through, and I'm happy I did. So anyway, have a lovely rest of your day or evening or morning or wherever or whatever you might be doing. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you all soon. Bye now.